What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Planet Coaster. Today we are going to be building some very intricate structures over top of our coaster stations and our facilities. But before we get into that, you all had some fantastic suggestions on what we should be naming certain rides, so I'm going to go ahead and go through all of my favorites. Starting off with Wild Blue, Justin suggested that we call this one Kamikaze. Since he is an OG, he knows that the original Planet Coaster series that I did, this was the very first ride that I placed down, and we named it Kamikaze because of the planes, basically. Alright, with that one renamed, let's move on to the Deegan coaster. Anthony suggested that we actually call this one the Sidewinder, and I really like that because of all these different loops and twisty bits that it has. It just makes sense. Anthony also suggested a very good rename for the kickflip. He suggested the Zipper. And the reason I think is because of this whole like center column bit kind of looks like a zipper, so I can appreciate that name as well. And lastly, arguably the worst coaster I've ever built, but somehow it performed well, formerly known as Mouse Hunt. This one is going to be named the Flying Squirrel, courtesy of Uncle Tracy. Now, his reasoning behind that name is fairly straightforward. In a previous park, I had the Pelican flying coaster. The coaster's car looked extremely similar to a pelican, in my opinion, but it actually turned out to be a stork. Not my proudest moment, but that's why this one's gonna be named the Flying Squirrel, even though it's very clearly supposed to resemble little tiny mice. We're just gonna pretend they're squirrels now. And as of right now, that is all the rides that we have in this park currently, but thank you all so much for your fantastic suggestions on what we should be renaming these. That is my downfall when it comes to this game. I just totally blank when I try to go about naming anything. So you probably noticed the structure that I built over top of the Flying Squirrel. I'm not particularly proud of this design, but it did give me a lot of inspiration for what I want to do for the Sidewinder, and it's gonna look similar to this, but it definitely won't be exact. For starters, it's gonna be much bigger than this one, but I also added a bunch of concrete underneath the entrance queue for this one, and I think it looks really nice. I talked about doing this in the previous episode, and finally I was like, you know what? It would look really good if the terrain were coming up underneath the path, but we all know it never goes up completely flush underneath a path. So I decided to go the building material route, and I'm glad I did. I think it turned out amazing. It'll look even better after we add in a bunch of scenery in here in this center sort of plaza area. I also adjusted the entrance and exit for this coaster station, making the entrance on this side and the exit over here on the back. And I gotta say, it really works, and I think I'm gonna change that for the Sidewinder as well. You can see we have entrance and exit on the same side. I'm gonna put the exit on the back here, and we're gonna move the entrance still to the front, but it'll be further off to one side of the station. With that out of the way, we can now start to assemble our new structure, and I think where I wanna start is actually with this food court. So I wanna try to make a classic loft type facility. So I want to have this food court on the bottom, but then up above that in the same building, I want to try to build a loft. Kind of pretend that someone actually lives up there. Maybe the park management staff lives up there, or I don't know, maybe the vendors hang out up there. Maybe it's just their crash pad so they don't have to drive all the way home. I think it's a really unique idea, and I found quite a few of these furniture options off of the Steam Workshop. I unfortunately don't remember who made them. You guys know I love to give credit where credit is due. I guess we could just view it on the Steam Workshop quick. Okay, so these are all made by Delgus, D-E-L-G-U-S. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. But if you guys want to use these in your own theme park, just head on into the Steam Workshop. This does not apply to those of you that are playing it on the console edition, so make sure you keep that in mind if you are looking for these and they're not there. That's the reason why. But tons of furniture options. I think they look really great. All the models are very well detailed. So I'm for sure going to utilize those. But I guess let's just start banging out the main portion of this new facility, of this new building. And then we can go through and add in all those little decorative pieces at the end. right, guys, here it is. This is the main foundation, or the building blocks of our new building. Now, luckily, I've already went ahead and created all of the decorative bits that I wanted to fill the inside with. So all I have to do is go down to my blueprints, go to my classic food court loft interior, and we should be able to sort of drag this into place. I didn't really think about this because even I know that you can't add two buildings together. It just doesn't work like that. So I almost should have put this in first and then built around it, but there might be a way that I can get this to work. Nope, there is absolutely no way, and I kind of figured that. That's why I already created the entire thing. And it also has the interior and everything we need. I did do the roof a bit differently. I actually used a eave rather than this sort of edging on the edge here. I do like this, but I think I like the eave more. So just keep this fresh in your mind, right? And then let's go over to this other building where I did the eave instead. Let me know what you guys think, if I should stick with this or if I should go with the original one that I had before. But let's go through this interior because it is very, very cool. Starting off on the main structure, there are windows that look in. I can show you guys. I don't know why I'm sticking over there. There are windows that look in, and I wanted this to feel as though it was maybe an eatery of some sort. You could actually go inside, sit down at a table, and eat your food that you're buying from these food court facilities. So there's that on both sides. But if I click play here, you'll be able to see we also have a fountain, which is actually missing a spout. There should be a fifth spout here. We could add that in. That's not a huge deal. So I have this sort of waterfall backdrop just behind this glass window. I think that looks super, super good. There is no real staircase going upstairs, but the upstairs is incredible. So I use that furniture for a sort of patio sitting area. I have a single stool over here on this, I would call this a patio, I guess, balcony. It's a balcony. We also have one more over here, another little reading nook, outdoor patio area. But on the inside, it is very well decorated. We got a little children's bedroom over here, just a little single bed, another little dining room set up, all these doors, bookshelves. We have the master bedroom that has a couple of shelves hung up on the wall, some nice little end tables. And then in this room, this is sort of the office, but I also had to include their wardrobe in here for these imaginary people that would possibly live in this place. And then moving on into the living room, we have a little place where you can wake up in the morning, drink your coffee, another bookshelf, some greenery, because your house is never complete without some plants. And then this is the living room. Now, funny enough, I went ahead and added in this entertainment center, complete with a TV that is actually playing one of my film projects from a while ago. This is at a drift event in North Dakota, or was it South Dakota? One of the Dakotas. And I filmed a couple of buddies drift in their cars and whatnot, but I have that playing just because it was a shorter video. I could have done any of my videos, but this was like 2-3 minutes. So if you guys want to be able to do this with some of your content or a video of your choosing, you can absolutely do that. All you have to do is under the TV option where it says billboard, change it to movie, and then there's this user video option. This is not a tutorial, so I'm not gonna go super in-depth about this, but you basically have your file, you put it in this users videos folder, and then you can use whatever video you want inside of the game. It does have to be a .webm file, not a .move, not a .mp4. It has to be a .webm file type. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. We can actually let this play so you guys can watch. It is a actual video, but okay, good. I want to make sure it's muted because it uses copyrighted music, but it's pretty dope. I'm super happy that that is even an option to do in this game. It just makes it that much more enjoyable to add a little bit of yourself into whatever game you're playing, whatever scenario you're playing on. So unfortunately, we cannot use this building at all. That has to get deleted, and we can't even use this building that I just spent a little, not a long time, but a little while time-lapsing. So I'm gonna use that as a guide so I can line this one up exactly where this stuff is. Well, that was definitely way more difficult than it needed to be, but it is finally finished, and I'm gonna leave this Eve design rather than the other one. I really did like the other one, but this one was already finished, so why not just leave it as it is? And now you can get a little bit better of an idea of what this thing looks like. I do still have to add another fountain jet on this, so let me do that really, really quick. Okay, there should be 5 water spouts now. There we go. Perfect. Looking much, much better. As always, I mean, let me know what you guys think about this. I've never done anything that's been this classical theme, so I'm a big fan. I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't use any of these decoration blocks or just building materials in general. Ever. I've never used these things. Okay, now a huge question is whether or not we are able to open up the Chief Beef and or the Looney Balloons. So I'm gonna go into our guests tab here, and I'm gonna take a look at what their thoughts are. They're all just really thirsty. They don't appear to want any food just yet. Their needs kind of say otherwise, but I think I'll just hold out until they actually have the thought of, oh, I'm hungry. But I think that facility is gonna do really, really well. Now, let's move on to the coaster station for the Sidewinder. This one has been a bit of a problem child since the very beginning, just because the distance from the main path to the coaster station is not very long, and since we had both the entrance and exit on the same side, it really made space a lot tighter than it needed to be. So with this being our top performing coaster as of right now, I do think we have to elongate that entrance queue just so that more people are going to be willing to queue up for this ride. So unfortunately, ladies and gents, I gotta close down your favorite ride ever. I know, I'm so sorry, but this also, oh my god, a 977? A 977 Prestige? I wonder if, no way, is that taking into account this building here? Because that's amazing. It already has an 86% Q scenery rating, and we haven't done a thing to this ride. That's incredible. Okay, well, I do have to edit the track, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into edit mode. I don't want a lot of people to be super peeved, so I'm tempted to leave it paused, but you guys always hate when I do that, so we'll just leave it unpaused for now. But I want to edit this track. This was a issue in the last video, so I think it's about time we address this thing. We'll stop once it looks straight-ish. That looks pretty good. It didn't change the descent at all, just the turn. And then this side as well is super messed up, dude. Now, of course, we do have to test it, which is kind of a bummer, but that's all right. Hopefully it has a much better prestige even still after just fixing that tiny little mistake. A 7.66, 5.18, and 1.97. That doesn't seem too bad. That gives us a 988 for the Prestige, which is actually a little bit better. So 988 divided by 35 would give us a ticket price of $28.22, dude. We were originally charging about $22 for this ride, so that is insane. That is gonna help out our profits like you would not believe. Okay, but I don't want people to start getting in line just yet. I'm so sorry. This little group, y'all gotta leave, because we do actually still have to edit the track. Oh no, dude, and I already tested it. Hopefully this doesn't change anything, but I'm assuming it will. We have to change this station so that it is entry left, exit right. And let's see, yep, still have to test it. Again, of course. You change one little thing about a coaster and they want you to retest everything. It's no surprise that that took way longer than I initially thought, but I do hope you guys still enjoyed the time lapse nonetheless. we have now reopened the Sidewinder. The Kamikaze did just break down, but hopefully we have our mechanic en route to repair the thing. Now let's talk about the design here. Obviously, it does look very, very similar to this station, but there are some subtle differences. Not only is it much larger, but also I used the overhang of the roof itself rather than the eave, just because it doesn't really look all that great, to be completely honest. But for the most part, it is quite literally the exact same structure. I was so tempted, you guys, so tempted to use my same pergola design that I normally do over top of the queue right here. But I decided against that because I know a lot of you don't really care for it. I did add a second bathroom block though, because we were kind of lacking in that department. So we still only have one janitor. Now that we have 2 bathrooms, we may have to get an additional one. But look at the amount of people lining up now for the Sidewinder, dude. Also, this queue works surprisingly well. Like I mentioned, I want to try to do more elevation stuff. I want the coasters to be higher off the ground. I'd like to maybe do some terrain modification, but normally that ends pretty badly. Our first group is going up right now. They're going to cue the fireworks. 3, 2, 1. They're not going to cue the fireworks? What did I do? What did I do? And with the exit on the opposite side now over here, I think this is going to work really well when we start to expand more so out to the left, because rather than people entering from the same side, they'll now be spit out the other side and they'll have the option, okay, do I want to go back over here or do I want to check out what's on this side? Okay, fireworks still didn't deploy. What the heck is going on, dude? Let's, I guess let's move it up to the very top, put it like right there. Maybe that'll do something different. All of these fireworks still set to go off, and they will if we do it manually. That is very interesting. All right, well, I'm gonna pretend like they're fine for right now because it's not a huge deal. Honestly, it costs us a lot of money to be able to launch those off anyways. All right, dude, this is looking awesome. I'm super, super happy with the way things are turning out here. I'd like to definitely later on add a building surrounding the bathroom, the staff resting facility, and the first aid facility, but I don't think I'm ready for that just yet. I'm kind of overbuilding for today, but we did get a lot done. Now, something I didn't do in the previous episode that I know a couple of people actually wanted, for whatever reason, was to ride the now known as Flying Squirrel. Couldn't tell you why. It's pretty simple, it's pretty basic, but I suppose you just want to see how bad the whiplash really is. It's pretty bad. You can see here, especially the second section, it's really bad. Like, your neck might as well be snapped off going around this thing. And there we go, that's that. I do like the new station though, that's a good look, but I think we do still have to adjust our prices for this one. We're looking at a 1071 now, divided by 35, that would be $30.60. 3060. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the most expensive coaster that we have in the park so far, and hopefully things are yet to improve. Monthly profit $2,100. Park rating change plus 36. That's pretty good. Fireworks are now working, which is awesome. All right, let's see. Are the guests hungry? Are they hungry at all? No, just thirsty. Why? Why? How are you guys not hungry? Maybe after we expand the park a little bit more, maybe they'll be more inclined to stay longer and hopefully work up a bit more of an appetite. Right now, it doesn't seem like they're doing that. That's about all I wanted to get accomplished for this episode. So once again, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.